All right. The transfer portal is humming, and that was to be expected, of course, with only 38 scholarship players on the roster for that bowl game. Now, there was some guys sitting out, and there were obviously injuries involved, but still not a good look there at the Texas Bowl, but that's long forgotten. And now tons of players coming in from all parts of the country.
Yeah, just like you said, it's something we may never see again. Having your 6-year senior receiver playing quarterback at the Texas Bowl, it was incredible. It was unbelievable what we saw, what we witnessed, and immediately understanding, Brian Kelly's having to juggle the getting the staff together. People ripping on him about his accent, his dance moves. He's got to worry about Nick Saban and the SEC West and all this insanity his first year. But then he's also got to deal with this tattered, destroyed roster. And it was an absolute just foot stomping, just barnstorming, just pile driving, just dismay through the transfer portal from Brian Kelly, as you saw. First, he comes up with Miles Frazier, who was highly touted, highly pursued by Ohio State. You felt like Ryan Day had one hand around the signing pen, like, let's do this, Miles. And nope, Miles Frazier, which LSU's offensive line were stacked with freshmen, awesome freshman talent. So some really good, uncertain kind of, talent there in the sophomore, junior class, but unproven on the field. What did they need? What did this offensive line group need? They needed experience. Miles Frazier coming in big time, huge right there. But then this guy wasn't even in the transfer portal for more than like 2-3 weeks, Mark. Miles Brennan, he never went anywhere. But Brian Kelly convincing this guy, a story LSUodyssey.com also broke, convincing this guy he went through everything at LSU, and you thought he had washed his hands of it and had enough. And Arkansas were in the picture, Nebraska were in the picture, Auburn, Mississippi schools were in the picture, but Brian Kelly was able to, out of nowhere, get him to come back, help bolster what is a young quarterback room with very talented, though, Garrett Nussmeier, Walker Howard, unbelievable quarterbacks right there. But once again, they needed stabilization with that veteran force. Who better than Miles Brennan? We even got a long snapper, Slade Roy, out of East Carolina. But then Mekhi Garner. We stole a few of Billy Napier's old guys from the Raging Cajuns. Mekhi Garner, cornerback. We desperately needed corners. We were decimated at the DBU brand was at stake, Mark. The DBU brand was at stake. We lost in one offseason Derek Stingley Jr., Eli Ricks, Cordell Flott, Dwight McLaughlin. Who else? Who else did I forget? I mean, it's crazy. We lost all of those guys in one offseason, just unforeseen. And so to answer, we got Mekhi Garner coming out with Billy Napier, unbelievable. Joe Fouché, though, out of Arkansas. Storied career there at Arkansas. Unbelievable seasons there as a just rocket launcher safety. But 1 year of eligibility, but he's a huge veteran presence that LSU needed there in the safety. But Greg Brooks Jr. as well from Arkansas. And once again, there's a Louisiana theme. Both Fouché and Greg Brooks Jr., New Orleans guys. I mean, Louisiana guys. You got Fouché from New Orleans, Greg Brooks Jr. from Harvey, and then adding to it another Raging Cajun, Kieran Lacey, also from Louisiana. Leaves Napier's program at the receiver position, 10 touchdowns, 668 yards in two seasons. Kieran Lacey coming from the Raging Cajuns as well. Noah Kane, 5-star running back from Penn State. I mean, he had an unbelievable freshman year, 8 touchdowns, which was the all-time freshman scoring rushing record at Penn State. He had some injury issues, fell off, but Baton Rouge native coming home. Huge plus for the LSU running back room. Big time. And West Weeks, linebacker, who I covered a bunch of this kid and his brother Whit, because I was following a lot of Jake Johnson and Max Johnson's careers at Oconee High, and Witt and West were those trusty supporting role players who could both play receiver and linebacker adeptly. And Wes Weeks, this is a guy who Bronco Mendenhall, who helped in the development of Brian Urlacher and Kyle Van Noy at BYU as well. He knows what he's doing on the defensive side of the football. Bronco Mendenhall got him to Virginia, and he didn't play much, but West Weeks had as many pass breakups as any single LSU Tiger did in 2021 while playing freshman reps. 5. Condemnation of LSU's absolute ridiculousness on defense, but also proof of what West Weeks can do and his versatile nature. Jarek Bernard, Converse, an all Big 12 corner, being able to get him from a team that just went all the way to New Year's Six Bowl, on the cusp of college football playoff. Shreveport native as well. Once again, another theme here. Colby Fields, though, a Metairie native linebacker. This kid, when I first was looking into him, South Carolina only had 8 tackles as freshman. When I was looking into him, I was blown away by all the film of his playmaking on the field, Mark, at the high school level. This kid was absolutely filthy. And I really think he can add something to LSU's linebacker core, which was, once again, we had 3 scholarship linebackers, 3 for that Texas Bowl. And Colby Fields, he adds to that, boosts that big time. Big time. So, of course, the addition of Harold Perkins.
It's a lot to sort out between now and Florida State, September 3rd in the opener, but there's a lot of time. Brian Kelly knows what he's doing. I don't know that he gets enough credit for raising the Notre Dame standard to what we haven't seen since Lou Holtz was there in the early to mid 90s. So Brian Kelly comes in. Of course, there's more work to be done. I'm sure more player acquisition, but he's off to a great start with 13 transfers. And then, of course, the recruiting class for 2022.